Chapter 1: The Winds of Fate and the Cheyenne People. The late autumn winds that swept through the Kansas plains in 1837 carried a chill that signaled the end of a season and the approach of another. To the Cheyenne people, these winds were a reminder that the cycle of life and death, prosperity and hardship, would continue despite their struggles. They spoke to the warriors, the elders and the young alike, urging them to remember the past while preparing for the future. The plains were not only their home, but also their battleground, where every breeze whispered stories of ancestors long gone. The Cheyenne, a proud and powerful nation, had long lived on the Great Plains, moving between the fertile areas of what is now Colorado, Wyoming, Nebraska, and Kansas. They were a tribe rich in culture, known for their warrior societies, their spiritual beliefs, and their deep connection to the land. They were horse people whose lives were inextricably linked to the mighty buffalo, which they hunted with both reverence and necessity. The Cheyenne had a unique system of warrior societies, each with its own set of rituals, codes, and roles. Among these, the Dog Soldiers were the most esteemed. The Dog Soldiers were not simply warriors. They were the protectors of the Cheyenne people. They embodied the spirit of the tribe's military prowess and upheld the values of courage, loyalty, and strength. They were revered not only for their skills in battle, but for their role as defenders of the Cheyenne way of life. Porcupine Bear, the leader of the Dog Soldiers, was a man who commanded respect not only because of his skill in battle, but also for his wisdom and his ability to unify his people. He was a war chief, a figure whose role went beyond mere leadership. He was a symbol of the Cheyenne spirit. His very name evoked the image of strength and resilience in a world that was rapidly changing, where the Cheyenne were constantly clashing with other tribes and facing encroaching settlers. Porcupine Bear represented the last bastion of a traditional way of life that was under siege from all sides. But Porcupine Bear's strength as a leader would soon be tested in ways he had not foreseen. The massacre of the Bowstring Society, a brutal, tragic event that would forever alter the course of the Cheyenne, was about to cast its dark shadow over him. Chapter 2: The Massacre of the Bowstring Society. The Bowstring Society was a prestigious warrior society within the Cheyenne Nation, composed of some of the bravest and most respected men. These warriors were known for their exceptional fighting skills, their courage in battle, and their unwavering loyalty to the Cheyenne people. The massacre of these men would become a turning point, not just for the Cheyenne, but for the entire tribe. The Kiowa and Comanche, two powerful and long-standing enemies of the Cheyenne, had long sought to undermine the Cheyenne's strength. They were both formidable warrior tribes, skilled in raiding and skilled in battle. In the autumn of 1837, the Kiowa and Comanche made a bold move against the Cheyenne. They launched a surprise attack on a group of 40 Cheyenne warriors from the Bowstring Society, who had been caught off guard while returning from a successful hunt. The ambush was swift, brutal, and devastating. The Kiowa and Comanche warriors, armed with superior weaponry and tactics, descended upon the unsuspecting Cheyenne. The Cheyenne warriors fought valiantly, but they were outnumbered and overwhelmed. One by one they were cut down, their blood staining the earth they had fought so hard to protect. In the end, 40 Cheyenne warriors, each a son, brother, father, and husband, lay dead, their bodies left for the vultures. The massacre was a devastating blow to the Cheyenne, one that would send ripples of grief and fury throughout the entire nation. For Porcupine Bear, this loss was personal. Many of the fallen warriors were his close relatives, brothers, cousins, and childhood friends. The Bowstring Society was not just a warrior group, it was a brotherhood of family. The pain of losing so many warriors in such a brutal manner was a blow that went beyond mere loss. It was a challenge to the very identity of the Cheyenne. It was as though the Cheyenne had been struck at the heart of their strength. Chapter 3: The Rallying Cry for Vengeance. Porcupine Bear, as the leader of the Dog Soldiers, took it upon himself to rally his people. In the face of this tragedy, he knew that the Cheyenne could not afford to show weakness, not in the face of such an atrocity. The people needed not just to grieve, but to act. They needed vengeance. The Kiowa and Comanche had to pay for what they had done, but rallying the people was no simple task. The Cheyenne were a people steeped in tradition and spirituality, and many among them, especially the elders, believed in the importance of maintaining peace, of keeping balance between the tribes. Revenge, while often seen as a necessity for maintaining honor, was not always the first course of action. Yet Porcupine Bear, with his deep understanding of his people's values and his unshakable belief in justice, knew that the time for peace had passed. This was a moment for action. He traveled from camp to camp, speaking to the warriors, the chiefs, and the people. He called upon the young men to prove their courage, to show that they would not stand idly by in the face of such violence.